Imhotep, do you like this banner? I was having a little chat, an informal chat, with God, or Hecate, as she's better known. And she told me to buy it. She told me to buy it straight up. She just told me. And so I bought it. Can you believe that shit? Just kidding. Imhotep, welcome to my channel again. Today I'm here to kind of just have a nice little chat about a few issues I see in some modern occult communities. It might be more of a rant, but rants are fun. So let's begin. And if you don't mind me, I'm just arguing with people on the internet. Just joking again. But you see a lot of gems in some of these groups, and I kind of just have to, okay, my child, the goddess said, through all those years I've watched your struggles. Now quit whining and get your lazy ass to do what you need to do. Shit ain't gonna fix itself. Be responsible for once. I'm getting migraines from you. Much love, Hecate. Good grief. Okay, so what is it with modern day occult communities that just... oh goodness, where do I begin? So, right. I think the problem with a lot of these modern day communities and like the Hecate centered communities are really, really bad about this. It's like, I think when you're studying ascetianism, you get an entirely different foundation of what magic is than you would get in these communities. And in my opinion, I just think that there's a lot more to magic than reciting a poem or reciting a spell that you read in a book or uttering this string of words and just thinking, oh, that's going to do something. That's going to command the gods themselves. They're going to do what I want. You know, I have the power. That's not how it works. And unfortunately, I think a lot of these modern day communities have bred an entire horde of completely unable practitioners, and it's really sad to see. And, you know, I think there's a big difference between working magic and wandering around in your own mental or inner plane. And, you know, in ascetianism, we learn that there are, you know, different planes of existence. So you have the physical, and then you have the inner plane right above it. And then you have the etheric plane, and then the divine plane. I forgot the astral in there, we know. But, you know, the difference between these communities, these modern day communities, and how they approach magic and ascetianism is that, you know, in ascetianism, the principles of high magic involve projecting your energy and your will, to put it in an overly simplistic way, projecting that into the etheric plane, which is no simple matter. You have to go up into a very dense plane of existence that's hard to reach. Energetically dense, that is. Whereas in the new age occult communities, to be blunt, mostly it's about messing around with your own inner plane. Self-deceit, illusion, and maybe even sometimes psychological tricks. I just think that it's really sad and unfortunate because, you know, a lot of these communities are led by, you know, authors, big name authors that are there. And, you know, imagine interacting with an author and, you know, you don't know any better. And you're like, wow, you know, this author talked to me and he was on the bestseller list, or she did this or that. And so then you start to kind of take their entire cult of personality and everything they say is gospel and law. And it's not a good situation, I think, for any occultist who wants to truly learn something. And I think it's also important to keep in mind that you don't just contact a deity. You don't just go knock knock, hey, excuse me, I lit a stick of incense now, or did this or that, and now this god, this very powerful god or goddess is talking directly to me and giving me all these instructions. That's not how it works. And, you know, the process of reaching higher up those planes of existence and achieving real contact with a powerful higher entity, that's very complex. It takes a lot of evolution. It takes a lot of experience. And I think there are also a lot of techniques of doing that that are quite guarded that, the common person doesn't just find. And I know that upsets a lot of people. A lot of people hate that, and they think, those Satanists are way too elitist and they don't know what they're talking about, because it feels more comfortable. It feels much better to be able to say, look what I did. I recited something out of the PGM and now I can command Horus or Set or Aset or any of these powerful entities. I command them and they do what I want because I read something out of a book. Like, what is that? But unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I guess today, this is yet another reminder to stay safe online. The occult is no joke. Sometimes there are even dangers and risks associated with it. And in my opinion, it's really sad to see so many people being completely taken advantage of by some of these voices and personalities who are really only there because they want a following, or they want something to augment their sense of ego and authority and power. And that's just not what spirituality is about. And it's not a competition of who's better and who's got the most publishing deals and who's been around the longest. You see entire crowds and hordes of people who blindly follow this or that author who's pushing out 4, 5, 6 grimoires in a year, and meanwhile you have other people who know this author's history of disinformation campaigns and slander and all kinds of lying, but that stuff gets covered up, and some people just aren't aware of things. So I guess I find that very problematic. The occult market is so saturated with bullshit nowadays that it's a minefield. So I guess my point in all of this is, once again, be very careful online, because there are so many fakes out there. And there are a lot of people that are stuck in their mental planes, and they are basically talking to themselves, or they decide, and who really can blame them? They decide Christianity sucks and it's not for me. It does suck. I totally feel you on that one, and I don't blame you. But they decide Christianity sucks, but they don't break that internal conditioning. And so they end up replacing Jesus with Hecate or some other deity or entity. And now all of a sudden they are treating this ancient force like it is Jesus Christ, only in a different cloak. And unfortunately, I think a lot of these forces and energies that people are working with are egregores and not the real thing. So before this turns into too much of a rant, I just want to say, once again, be careful of what you read and see online. And just keep in mind and remember that there's so much misinformation saturating the occult market. All these, to put it bluntly, wannabe occult authors who are kind of just regurgitating the stuff that they heard from someone else and read, or, and you can see how credible they are from the people and the things that they support. If they support someone who's been harassing communities and spreading misinformation, and they're okay with that all because of the concept of viral marketing and self-promotion, and they think, oh, well, this person will get me a bigger audience, so all's good with me. Doesn't matter how dishonest they are. Those are all huge red flags. So please just take seriously the stuff that you use in your personal practice. Be careful out there, because there's so much crap flooding the occult market. So many superficial tarot decks and silly new age fluff books that kind of don't really even pass anything serious along to the readers. And the good thing about it is that the serious person who's meant to look deeper and find more will. They won't be satisfied with the fluffy new age stuff at the surface, and they're gonna, reach deeper for the more traditional occultism. And that's the nature of it. It always has been popular occultism versus traditional occultism. They're named that way for a reason. There's always going to be that divide there. But yes, please just take it seriously, and don't be afraid to laugh at some of these people, because it's kind of therapeutic. I'm sorry, it's true. But yes, I hope you all have a great day, week, and I'll see you next time.